I'll let you open first. Okay, so I've been super interested in hearing this story, but out of everything that you have shot over, how long have you been shooting for?
15 years.
15 years. What is the weirdest thing you think that you have shot?
And the fact that I didn't have to think about that very long is a really good indicator that it's pretty damn weird. So they send me up to Zabar's to pick up the food, you know, for the shoot, and I get the bag and I'm like, wow, that's really heavy. So I bring it back down to my studio and I open it and unwrap it, and it is literally an entire beef tongue.
So how big is that?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's maybe 6 inches wide, and it was probably like 14 to 20 inches long.
What the heck?
You know, like the Rolling Stones tongue. You know, like it was like a slide at the park.
Sounds like a bucket of yak.
It was horrible. You know, at the end of the day, you end up not even looking at it as food when you're working with it. You know, it ends up becoming the object on the table. Because I know lots of photographers who shoot food that they don't eat. Like they don't eat meat, they don't eat fish, I don't eat wheat, you know, and I'm constantly surrounded by food that I can't eat. Mm-hmm. And then that becomes a little easier to like emotionally disconnect from it.
Well, we are here.
Great. Is there coffee here?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
I drink coffee, but I drink cheap coffee too.
The grind makes a difference here, right? Because if it's too fine, it's gonna get clogged up.
Is there a time when you're making something, or when you're like, even now, like, are you always thinking of how to shoot it, or is it
Absolutely. You know, because when I do something even in my own kitchen and I find that there's something really visual about it, I'll pull out my cell phone and just kind of do maybe even just a few test shots just to say, would this work at some point, like going forward? Like, can I recreate this on camera?
How did you get started with food photography? Because that's kind of a unique.
I didn't start shooting professionally till I was in my 30s. So I was working as a teacher and a coach and doing all that stuff and doing photography as an amateur throughout, from the time I was in college until that point. And then, you know, I had some transitions in my life and I wanted something different, and I always felt like I needed something creative. And I always did writing and other creative things, but it wasn't filling the hole that I needed. And so I started shooting more, and then I said, I want to do this. So I started to seek out assignments, and I got lucky a few times, got some great assignments with some great clients, and sort of food photography was born out of getting assignments for the food section of the Times.
How would you set this up to make sure that you were able to get something that would be presentable? Would you take something away to make it more straightforward?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at that plate just with my eyes, right? And the plate itself doesn't work. The plate itself is too shiny. It's got a bevel, so things are rolling down into the bottom of it. And it's a mess. But if I had to make a shot based on what's here, I have something right here, very close, that has texture, it has color, it eliminates this kind of plate situation. I would probably come off and maybe find one of the veins in the marble here as a detail, right? I can kind of prop this in here. These become kind of ancillary as far as color in the background if I'm shooting in a shallow depth of field. And clearly, if the lighting was better, I can make that shot on this plate with what's here. But the thing is, you gotta recognize the thing on the plate that works. So if I was shooting that from up here and I was shooting the whole plate, it would be a disaster.
Right.
All right, it would look awful. But with the same exact thing, without moving a thing on the plate, understanding what part of that works is the idea of training your eye as a food photographer. You've been dying to eat that for like the last 10 minutes. You're like, I gotta eat that.
Damn, why would they stop?
I want to taste my muffin.
Get it.
When you get the shot, what does that feel like to you when you take the shot and you're just...
You know, I have two instincts, and it's funny. It's like, my first instinct is I want to drop the camera and walk away. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm done. But once I get past the ego moment of that, I keep pushing it. So now I'm like, I got it now. Now I have it. Now I can really be creative. Now I can really push it outside the box. And so many of my pictures, my best pictures that end up on my website or end up on my Instagram account, are a result of that process, right? I get the shot, And then I'm like, now I can really push hard at something new, at something different, at an angle I wanted to try or whatever. Because now the pressure is off, right? You've already gone 3 for 3. Swing for the fences on your 4th at bat, right? So that's exactly the process. And it's that simple, right? It's like, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it. All right, now let's push further. The great part of being an artist is knowing you got it, but then knowing that you don't have any pressure to create anymore. Am I okay to change positions here, or am I gonna throw your focus off?
You are free to move as much as you want.
Okay.
I'll follow you.
As many wild gestures as possible.